Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Well, it's January 1st, 2023. The new year is here, and the Chrisleys had their last Christmas with their family. They will be reporting to federal prison intake, I believe on January 17th. I think previously I stated there might be a date of the 15th or the 16th, but I have seen now several sources saying that it was January 17th. So they have less than 3 weeks of freedom left before they are locked up for a combined amount of 19 years. It will be 12 years for Todd and 7 years for Julie. And their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, who has a podcast called Unlocked, has made statements saying that she will not get married or have children until her parents have been released. And she is 25 years old, which would make her 37 if that is going to happen for her. But I think that was a knee-jerk reaction. I think that was just a complete knee-jerk emotional reaction, because everybody wants their parents or loved ones there for moments that are really important, like weddings and the birth of children and stuff like that. So I think she was feeling just very like left alone, like just very almost like abandoned in a way, I guess. I think that's kind of in a sense, not that it was purposely done to her, but I think that is kind of like a form of abandonment for a lot of people whose parents or children whose parents go to prison. They have to learn to cope on their own and become independent. And even though she's older, she's already moved out on her own and, out in the world, they have a very close family unit. So that is it's a very traumatic thing for a lot of people like that. And the Chrisleys, they have no prior convictions. They've never been locked up before. So, this is like a very hard thing for these people. They're not used to the in and out, of prison life and doing, time, stuff like this. So, Savannah has made that statement and also made a statement feeling that she's grieving for the death of parents that are alive or something to that effect, which is probably about, appropriate of how she feels, how some people feel, when parents are sent away. And Todd has made statements that he's still alive, he's still there, he's, just to go on, live your life, and to be, just to progress and go on. And I think that's just something that, she will probably get over time. It will be something that she'll know that she'll have to just learn to cope with that, to continue on with her life, because she is going to be taking care of Chloe, the Chrisleys, Todd and Julie's adopted daughter, and also her youngest brother, Grayson. I believe he's 16. And she's going to be caring for these two. And if she does meet somebody, if she does have romantic feelings and it goes further into engagement or, something like that, I think finding a supportive partner in this situation for her, she will probably retract on her way of thinking. I think with the support of her parents, and if she wants to, she's going to be the guardian of Chloe. So putting Chloe into a loving family unit, I think that would be more appealing to her than, just, biding her time till her parents get out of prison. So that's probably just the mindset that she's in currently. And I think that will probably pass or change, as things go on. And the Chrisleys, I've heard a lot of talk about that the sentences were too harsh, that they were being made example of. Well, they kind of maybe were, because since they have no priors and they've somewhat cooperated, I guess you would say, there was a lot of evidence against them. You can say it in that manner. And these are federal charges. And federal prosecutors usually don't try a case unless they have some hardcore, extreme evidence that they know they're going to win the case, because they have a very high conviction rate. And me personally, if this were to happen to me and I knew there was a lot of evidence, despite the fact that you might want to deny that you did something wrong, when there's a lot of evidence showing that you did do something, it might be better just to plead out. And I think that is probably why they got more time, because they were a little arrogant. And anytime in a federal case, like I say, they really are astute in gathering their evidence and making sure the findings against these defendants are as truthful as possible for them to be able to try the case to get a conviction against them. And they probably were, I want to say that their counsel, their attorney, was probably either for the money, telling them, we can fight these charges, we can fight these charges. And I think they might have got reamed a little bit. So I don't know if it was in that situation or if they were just adamant that they want to plead not guilty because they truly believe in their mind that what they did was okay and not against the law, which, it really was. A lot of people just don't understand that, they really didn't, they didn't unalive somebody. They didn't commit some horrible, heinous, violent crime, but they did do something that, if everybody did that, the banking industry would collapse. And there have been collapses of the banking industry throughout, time. From the mismanagement, of funds or things that were not done properly. And there are, rules, regulations, laws that you have to follow and abide by whenever you're borrowing money and lending money. And they broke a lot of these laws, allegedly. And if you inflate your income to get a loan, that's illegal. And if they have evidence showing that you did, that's not, you can't really fight against that, When the prosecutors have evidence showing that you did do something wrong, and there are laws stating that you can't do that, that's where you get convicted. It's very simple. The law is very, cut and dry on certain things. It's very, especially on something like this that they went through, and the fact that they filed bankruptcy for $20 million. That's a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money. Most people, when they file bankruptcy, it may be in the thousands or maybe even tens of thousands, but $20 million, that is, a ridiculous amount, and you have no real excuse other than blowing it, that to me seems like a reason that they should have pled out. To me personally, that's what I think. And Julie and Todd will be going to separate prisons. Julie will be going possibly to a minimum or a medium security prison, which I don't know what is the, how stringent they are on the rules. And I believe it's a male and a female that houses both male and female inmates. I did research something about that. I don't know if that's exactly true or if the plans have been changed, but Todd will be going to a different location than her. And, I just honestly, I feel for them. The fact that they broke the law, they did things allegedly against the law. They've got a conviction now on the record. They're going for hard time in a federal prison. And the sentences were not, they weren't as harsh as they could have been, but they're not exactly light. A lot of people who have charges like this have gotten much lighter sentences. But, the tax evasion part of it is also something that you can actually get a lot more time on. And, can't cheat the tax man. So that probably compounded their sentencing. And honestly, the judge kind of chastised them, I think, because of their arrogance or the way that they thought that, well, I should not get any time at all. That was totally, I think that really kind of offset the judge a little bit. I don't think that it registered in them in Todd and Julie, you know, this is a serious thing, and you're going to go away for a long time. Other people get harsh sentences for stuff, you know, maybe not as harsh, like a lot of people have been talking, maybe not as harsh, but the amount of money, you know, I think that was in consideration too, a huge amount of money for this. And a sad part of this is Nanny Faye is sick and not doing, you know, real well. She's up in her age, and there's a possibility she may not survive Todd and Julie getting out of prison. Possibly Julie, but Todd, that's a long, you know, another 12 years. And going to federal prison, it's no picnic. It's, you know, not something that you can take lightly. They're not hardened people. They are not, I wouldn't call them brawlers, you know. I would do better in prison than they would. I really do think, you know, because I've been through a lot of hard things in my life, and I've had to throw a few hands. Not recently, but when I was much younger, and not of my doing. Not I've taken self-defense classes for 4 years. I've learned a lot of destroy techniques. I have to be careful how I say it there on YouTube, but in the way I can say it is, I will probably be more likely to be able to take your eye out with my finger by the optic nerve. I don't think they will, you know, they don't have that mindset to survive, you know, and it could be very serious, especially for Todd, you know, and having to be in that environment and not being hard or calloused, you know, about things in life, not being sharpened up. And I'm sure they're being put through like a little mini survival program. They have these survival people that do this for people going to prison who've never been in prison, who they teach them, you know, the ways of prison, how to survive, what to do, what not to do, what things mean, because it is a whole different environment once you get in there. And I think not having that mindset is just one of the most devastating things that could happen to you, because you could lose your life or something. You know, I think a lot of mental anguish would also play into it, not realizing, you know, the things that happen in there and the things that will go on and things that he will witness, especially if he's put in gin pop, you know, in his, and even for Julie, you know, it can be hard in a lot of the women's prison too. It just depends on how cushy it is, and a lot of people who do time for the types of crimes they've done, they have been put into these posh, cushy kind of white-collar prisons is what they call them. And I don't know the location of which ones and what type of prison they're going to be sent to. But they're probably fearful and worried, and also worried about their kids, you know. And you know, I do feel for them. I do think that I'm standing that they got the amount of time that they deserve, because it was out of so much greed. This alleged crime was basically their own greed, and it is their own fault. They put themselves in this position. They did it to themselves. And this is what happens. This is the, you know, the consequences of their actions, you know. Well, thank you all, and hope y'all have a happy new year, and I'll make another video soon. Thank you.